everyone. Welcome. Oh, there we go. Welcome to this joint event co-sponsored by Rad Yiddish and the Boston Worker Circle. I speak for Rad Yiddish when I say we're very excited to collaborate with a wonderful organization. And thank you so much to Linda and Polly for leading this event. I believe next I would need to introduce Rad Yiddish, and then we'll let Boston Worker Circle. Oh, I can introduce the speakers first. Okay. Or Lily, would you like to introduce them?
Sure, I can do that. So, hi everyone, I'm Lily. I am the co-chair of the Yiddish committee at Boston Worker Circle, and it's so great to have so many people here, new faces and familiar faces, and to collaborate with Rad Yiddish. So I can introduce Linda and Polly. Linda Gritz and Polly Katz have been singing together since one of them was born. They are active members of Boston Worker Circle, Arbitering, a thriving Jewish community that serves as a home for secular Jewish life, a voice for progressive Jewish values and social change, and an arts and education center celebrating Yiddish, Jewish, and progressive culture.
So I will say from Rad Yiddish, these are our community agreements that I will explain that we'll be using tonight and whenever we meet. So please repeat everything you say in Yiddish. If you're speaking in Yiddish, please repeat everything in English so that everyone understands. We aim to be accessible to everyone at all levels of their Yiddish. Be mindful of the space you take up and share talking time with others. Make space if you tend to speak more, and feel free to take up space if you're someone who tends to speak less. Please keep yourself muted when it's not your turn to speak. And please don't jump in and correct people when someone else is speaking unless that person asks for corrections. And please be patient with slower Yiddish speakers. We love everyone trying to speak Yiddish. And it's a no pressure environment and very low stress and welcoming. Don't assume anyone's pronouns. Ask if you need to use pronouns for people, and we welcome people to put their pronouns in there with their name on the Zoom screen if you'd like, and do not use slurs or oppressive language. So, let me reden und singen auf Yiddish zusammen. Let's speak and sing in Yiddish together. So before we turn it over to Linda and Polly, we're going to give everyone who has joined us an opportunity to get to know a couple other people, so and speak a little Yiddish. So we're going to put you in breakout rooms of about 3 random people just for a couple minutes, and we'll also paste this in the chat. But this is an opportunity to introduce yourself and get to know somebody else. So these are the English and Yiddish prompts that we invite you to use, and I'll just demonstrate with myself. My name is Sarah. Ich heiße Sora. My pronouns, I use she, her. Meine Pronomen seien sie, ihr. And then here we also have a few more pronoun options. And then if you need to use another one, of course, feel free. And then the article is something that is only used in Yiddish. So in Yiddish, the forms are gendered. And there's a feminine form, a masculine form, and a neutral form, because Yiddish has feminine, masculine, and neutral tense genders, grammatical genders. So I use the feminine form. So mine article is die, and that doesn't really translate in English, so you don't have to say anything for that. And then this is a prompt for today. My favorite thing about music. So I'll say, my favorite thing about music is community. Mein beliebte Sache wegen Musik ist Kila. So we'll also paste this in the chat, and we'll put you in breakout rooms now, give you an opportunity to speak a little bit before we start the program with Linda and Polly.
The breakout rooms are just about ready to go. I'll just wait for Sora to post the words in the chat so you have them with you going into the breakout rooms. And I also want to let folks know that Zoom auto captions is available. So you should have that button on the bottom of your screen if that helps. Of course, that just works in English. We don't yet have Yiddish captions.
Everyone, I'm so excited to get to the musical portion of the evening. Lily, would you be able to share your screen again, please? So much. And Linda and Polly, take it away. The floor is yours.
Oh yeah. Du kann nicht sein stumm. We can't be muted. Hi, I'm Linda Grit.
And I'm Polly Katz.
And we love singing together.
I was very lucky to have a Meshuggah mama, a wonderfully crazy mother, who would sing to me every night, and then I got to sing with her.
And let's dive in. We've got a few songs that we will share with you, and hopefully you will all come out singing them. Radical Yiddish worker songs, which come in many varieties: lullabies, laments, love songs, and raucous calls to action. Many of these songs were born over 100 years ago during a time of social and political upheaval in Eastern Europe. Workers were waking up to their oppression and the possibilities of strength in numbers.
A new modern Yiddish culture absorbed and reflected these radical new ideas and ideals. Today, we will learn and sing a few of these songs. We hope you enjoy and are inspired by our rich heritage, our Yerusha of radical Yiddishkeit.
Polly and I will introduce each song and sing a verse and refrain so you can hear what it sounds like, and then we'll teach it to you. Feel free to offer your own observations and ask questions.
So we didn't know who was going to be in this, and so we decided to start from the lowest level of teaching these songs. But we would love for you to give us feedback. Should we be going faster? Should we be going slower? You can use in the bottom of the screen, there's a button that says reactions, and you can use those reactions to raise your hand if you are saying, stop, I need help. There will be times where we might want a yes or a no answer. You can put it in the chat, but you can also use the green check mark or the red X. And then the last one that generally I use as a teacher is the slow down if we are going too quickly. But all of that can also just be said in the chat, which we will try to pay attention to.
And if we're missing something, someone could, that's really worth interrupting, please interrupt us so we don't miss out on anything urgent and important.
All right, our first song is Wacht auf, Wake Up by David Edelstadt. He was born in Caligula, Russia, about 120 miles southwest of Moscow. He emigrated to Cincinnati at the age of 16 and worked as a buttonhole maker while publishing a Yiddish labor poem for many Yiddish labor poems. He was the editor of a Yiddish anarchist newspaper, Freie Arbeiterstimme, Free Workers' Voice. He moved to Colorado for treatment for tuberculosis and died in 1892 at the age of 26. One of his many songs was Wacht auf, Wake Up. The song asks, how long will you work for those who rob you of your bread? Wake up and feel your iron strength, and everything will live and love and bloom in freedom's golden May. Enough kneeling before tyrants. Swear that you must be free. Schwert, als ihr müsst werden frei. Here is the first verse, and then we will teach it line by line.
Wie lang, oh, wie lang wird ihr bleiben, doch schlafen und tragen die schändliche Kate? Wie lang wird ihr glänzenden Reichtum erschaffen, von dem, was bereut euer Bräut? Wie lang wird ihr glänzenden Reichtum erschaffen, von dem, was bereut euer Bräut?
So that's how the song goes. And then I will go line by line, listen and repeat. And as we move on, we might go a little more quickly through the song. Yeah. Wie lang, oh, wie lang wird ihr bleiben noch schlafen? Wie lang, oh, wie lang wird ihr bleiben noch schlafen? Und tragen die schändliche Kate, und tragen die schändliche Kate. Wie lang wird ihr glänzende Reichtum erschaffen? Wie lang wird ihr glänzende Reichtum erschaffen? Bei dem, was beräubt euer Bräut, bei dem, was beräubt euer Bräut. Wie lang wird ihr glänzende Reichtum erschaffen? Wie lang wird ihr glänzende Reichtum erschaffen? Bei dem, was beräubt euer Bräut, bei dem, was beräubt euer Bräut. So let's put that whole verse together. Wie lang, oh, wie lang wird ihr bleiben noch schlafen und tragen die schändliche Kate? Wie lang wird ihr glänzende Reichtum erschaffen bei dem, was beräubt euer Bräut? Wie lang wird ihr glänzende Reichtum erschaffen bei dem, was beräubt euer Bräut? I'm gonna go with you. Sang it beautifully. So for the second verse, let's try singing, unless anybody can tell me, no, slow down. 2 lines for listen and repeat. That's what we decided. Good. Wie lang wird ihr stehen, euer Rücken gebeugen, der niedrig heimlos verschmacht? Wie lang wird ihr stehen, euer Rücken gebeugen, der niedrig heimlos verschmacht? Es tagt schon wacht auf und zeröffnet die Augen, der fühlt euer eiserne Macht. Es tagt schon wacht auf und zeröffnet die Augen, der fühlt euer eiserne Macht. Es tagt schon wacht auf und zeröffnet die Augen, der fühlt euer eiserne Macht. Es tagt schon wacht auf und zeröffnet die Augen, der fühlt euer eiserne Macht. All right, let's put it together. Let's do it together. Wie lang wird ihr stehen, euer Rücken gebeugen, der niedrig heimlos verschmacht? Es tagt schon wacht auf und zeröffnet die Augen, der fühlt euer eiserne Macht. Es tagt schon wacht auf und zeröffnet die Augen, der fühlt euer eiserne Macht.
Let's go to the next verse, the next page.
Okay. Let's do it the same way, 2 lines, 2 lines. Klingt mit in die Freiheitsglocken, versammelt die leidende Knecht. Sei mal so. Klingt mit in die Freiheitsglocken, versammelt die leidende Knecht. Und kämpft begeistert und kämpft und erschrocken, Pariere heilig gerecht. Und kämpft begeistert und kämpft und erschrocken, Pariere heilig gerecht. I think we can do that. Go ahead. Let's sing that whole verse together. And if not, please say in the chat to slow down for the next verse. Klingt mit in die Freiheitsglocken, versammelt die leidende Knecht.
und kämpft begeistert und kämpft der Schrocken, ihre heilig gerät. Und kämpft begeistert und kämpft beschrocken, ihre heilig gerät. And now we come to the wonderful verse. I personally love to sing the rest very March-like, and then this last verse, give it more of the nature that's coming out and the freedom that we are now experiencing in this verse. Und alles wird leben und lieben und blühen in freien, in goldenem Mai. Und alles wird leben und lieben und blühen in freien, in goldenem Mai. Chaverim genug Veteranen zu knien, schwert, als ihr muss werden frei. Chaverim genug Veteranen zu knien, schwert, als ihr muss werden frei. Chaverim genug Veteranen zu knien, schwert, als ihr muss werden frei. So let's put that last verse together and sing it again. Und alles wird leben und lieben und blühen in freien, in goldenem Mai. Chaverim genug Veteranen zu knien, schwer, als ihr muss werden frei. Chaverim genug Veteranen zu knien, schwer, als ihr muss werden frei.
Let's sing the whole song.
Let's
From the
sing the
top.
whole song.
Back to the first page, please.
And yes, if you are watching with captions, watch out when it's Yiddish. It definitely goes to an interesting set of words. All right, zusammen, together. Thank you.
Is that a good key?
Sure. Wie lang wird ihr bleiben, noch schlafen und tragen die schändliche Kehl? Wie lang wird ihr glänzen, der Reich immer schaffen, nach dem, was beräumt ihr Bräut? Wie lang wird ihr glänzen, der Reich immer schaffen, nach dem, was beräumt ihr Bräut? Wie lang wird ihr stehen, ihr Rücken gebeugen, der niedrig heimlos verschmacht? Es tut schon wacht auf und sie öffnet die Augen, der fehlt euer eiserne Macht. Es tut schon wacht auf und sie öffnet die Augen, der fehlt euer eiserne Macht. Klingt in die Freiheitsglocken, versammelt die leidende Knecht und kämpft begeistert und kämpft erschrocken, ihre heilig gerät. Und kämpft begeistert und kämpft erschrocken, ihre heilig gerät. Und alles wird leben und lieben und blühen in freien, in goldenem Mai. Chaverim genug Veteranen zu knien, schwer, als ihr muss werden frei. Chaverim genug Veteranen zu knien, schwer, als ihr muss werden frei. Thank you all.
Are there any questions, comments? Jump right in.
Either on the song itself or the way we taught it.
Nothing? Well,
All right.
you can always come to, this does not mean you can't ask questions later. Moving on to Schlaf mein Kind, Schlaf Geseder. The composer's name has been lost to us, but it was, we know it was published in 1912. And I love that we have radical Yiddish lullabies. This song gives young children a lesson in class struggle. My grandmother sang to my mother just the first verse, which says, "Sleep, my child, schlaf mein Kind. When you get older, you will learn about a difference." My mother says that from just this verse, she intuitively understood what the song was about. The next verses go on to say it more explicitly. The difference is between rich and poor. Who builds the finest homes and palaces? The poor worker. But who lives in them? The rich. The poor live in damp cellars that make them sick. Here's the first verse, and then we'll teach it line by line. Schlaf mein Kind, schlaf gesegnet, singen will ich dir ein Lied. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden, wirst du wissen einen Unterschied. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden, wirst du wissen einen Unterschied. So first line, listen and repeat. Schlaf mein Kind, schlaf geseder. Schlaf mein Kind, schlaf geseder. Second line. Singen will ich dir ein Lied. Singen will ich dir ein Lied. Listen to the first two lines together and then repeat. Schlaf mein Kind, schlaf geseder. Singen will ich dir ein Lied. Schlaf mein Kind, schlaf geseder, singen will ich dir ein Lied. Listen. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden. And the last line. Wirst du wissen einen Unterschied. Wirst du wissen einen Unterschied. And the last two lines repeat. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden, wirst du wissen einen Unterschied. Those two lines again. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden, wirst du wissen einen Unterschied. Let's try that whole verse together. Schlaf mein Kind, schlaf geseder, singen will ich dir ein Lied. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden, wirst du wissen einen Unterschied. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden, wirst du wissen einen Unterschied. Next verse, listen to the first two lines. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden, wirst du werden mit Menschen gleich. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden, wirst du werden mit Menschen gleich. Listen. Damals wirst du geweiher werden, was heißt Orem und was heißt Reich. Demals wirst du geweiht werden, was heißt Orem und was heißt Reich. Repeat those last two lines. Demals wirst du geweiht werden, was heißt Orem und was heißt Reich. Let's sing that whole second verse together. Als du mein Kind wirst älter werden, wirst du werden mit Menschen gleich. Demals wirst du geweiht werden, was heißt Orem und was heißt Reich. Demals wirst du geweiht werden, was heißt Orem und was heißt Reich. Let's go on to the next page and the next verse. The first two lines. Die teierste Palatsen, die schönste Häuser, das als macht der Orem. Die teierste Palatsen, die schönste Häuser, das als macht der Orem. And the next two lines. Nur weißt du, wer es tut in See weinen, gar nicht nur der reiche Mann. Nur weißt du, wer es tut in See weinen, gar nicht nur der reiche Mann. Repeat. Nur weißt du, wer es tut in See weinen, gar nicht nur der reiche Mann. Let's try singing that whole verse. Die teierste Palatsen, die schönste Häuser, das als macht der Orem. Nur weißt du, wer es tut in See weinen, gar nicht nur der reiche Mann. Nur weißt du, wer es tut in See weinen, gar nicht nur der reiche Mann. And the last verse, the first two lines, or should we do the whole, see if we can do the whole verse?
Let's go for it. You've got the tune, and Mom's wonderful.
The scanning is a little weird, a little challenging in places. So I'll sing that whole verse, and then we'll all sing it together. Der Orem liegt in Keller, der will Gott rinnt ihm von die Welt, der von bekommt Okay, it's even killing me, challenging me. Der Farbe kommt der Mattenfeller in die Fies und in die Hand. Der von bekommt der Mattenfeller in die Fies und in die Hand. Let's try that whole last verse. Der Orem liegt in Keller, der will Gott rinnt ihm von die Welt, der von bekommt der Mattenfeller in die Fies und in die Hand. Der von bekommt der Mattenfeller in die Fies und in die Hand. Let's go back to the previous page and sing the whole song. Schlaf mein Kind. Where's this song from? My mother's family was very traditional, so how did it get to Romania? Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that. Does anyone else who's familiar with this song do, feel free to unmute and jump in.
Or maybe put it in the chat while we sing the song.
Okay, or if you're thinking about it, put it in the chat. Great, let's sing the whole song. A radical Yiddish lullaby.
Hi.
Yes?
I just wanted to say that songs went back and forth. For example, to Balalaika, there's no evidence that that came from Europe, but that it came from the United States and then went over to Europe. You know, Yiddish culture went back and forth and all over the place. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's sing, and again, people can jump in afterwards with questions and other comments. Schlaf mein Kind, schlaf geseder, singen will ich dir ein Lied. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden, wirst du wissen einen Unterschied. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden, wirst du wissen einen Unterschied. Als du, mein Kind, wirst älter werden, wirst du werden mit Menschen gleich. Demos wirst du gewährt werden, was heißt Dorn und was heißt Reich. Demos wirst du gewährt werden, was heißt Dorn und was heißt Reich. Die teilste Palazen, die schönste Häuser, das als Macht der Mann. Nur weißt du, wer es tut in See wohnen, gar nicht nur der reiche Mann. Nur weißt du, wer es tut in See wohnen, gar nicht nur der reiche Mann. Der Mann, liegt in Keller, der will Gott schwimmt ihm von die Welt. Der von bekommt der Mattenfelder in die Fies und in die Hand. Der von bekommt der Mattenfelder in die Fies und in die Hand. Thank you. I see a note written by Shalom Aleichem. I think there's a different Schlaf mein Kind that is written by
a different Schlaf mein Kind.
Schlaf mein Kind, mein Trist, mein Schöne, etc. That's Shalom Aleichem. Why is haste written differently?
Yeah, it's a different one. Schlaf mein Kind, a few of them. If you're referring to writing it H-E-Y instead of H-E-I, that is standard Yivo transliteration. To have it's written in the Yiddish.
Oh, Yiddish. The second paragraph. On this page or different? The last line. It's a typo. Sorry, typo. Is correct. The next to last word, haste, is it should be the same. Was haste. Sorry.
Yeah.
Typo.
Good asking.
Any questions or comments about Schlaf mein Kind?
Lovely.
Adan. Okay, hey, we're sailing along. This is great. We're gonna get to all of them. Okay, let's go to the next. Jean-Claude. Change of pace, a little more lively. Jean Koya, first the composer, again, in this case, the composer's name has been lost to us. Zhankoye is a town in Crimea. Under the Russian Empire, Jews were barred from many occupations and could not own land. So it was quite a measure of freedom in the early days of the Soviet Union that Jews could be farmers. So here's a song from the 1920s, joyously celebrating this new life. Pete Seeger sang this in English and captured its lively humor. So we will alternate Yiddish and English verses. Here's the first verse and the refrain.
So we'll go over the pronunciation. We'll sing the song the same way we did for the Yiddish. And with the English, we're just going to charge forward.
Although Sevastopol and Simferopol might be a little hard.
So much fun to say.
So here's how the first verse and the refrain of Zhankoye. As men fort kein Sevastopol is nicht weit von Simferopol, dorten is a Stanzia paran. Wer darf suchen nahe Glückens is a Stanzia an Antikel in Zhankoye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. Hey Zhan Koye, hey Zhan Dili, hey Zhan Koye, hey Zhan Koye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. Hey Zhan Koye, hey Zhan Dili, hey Zhan Koye, hey Zhan Koye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. And you should all know that my wonderful mother's hand keeps going to my knee to remind me to slow down because we're teaching this song. But I promise you, once you get this song in your heart, just go down like you're on that train. It is such a fun song to sing fast. So line by line. As me fort kein Sevastopol, as me fort kein Sevastopol, is nicht weit von Simferopol. Is nicht weit von Simferopol. Those two lines together. As me fort kein Sevastopol, is nicht weit von Simferopol. As me fort kein Sevastopol, is nicht weit von Simferopol. Dorten is a Stanzia paran. Dorten is a Stanzia paran. Let's do those three lines. As men fort kein Sevastopol, is nicht weit von Simferopol, dorten is a Stanzia paran. Next line. Wer darf suchen nahe Glücken? Wer darf suchen nahe Glücken? Sis a Stanzia an Antiken. Sis a Stanzia in Antiken. In Zhankoye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. In Zhankoye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. I'll sing the last three lines. Wer darf suchen nahe Glücken, sis a Stanzia an Antiken. In Zhankoye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. Together. Wer darf suchen nahe Glücken, sis a Stanzia an Antiken. In Zhankoye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. Whole verse. As men fort kein Sevastopol, is nicht weit von Simferopol, dorten is a Stanzia paran. Wer darf suchen nahe Glücken, sis a Stanzia an Antiken. In Zhankoye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. And the refrain. Hey Zhan Koye, hey Zhan Koye. Hey Zhan Dili, hey Zhan Koye, hey Zhan Dili, hey Zhan Koye, hey Zhan Koye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. Hey Zhan Koye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. And then it repeats, and the difference is the last line. Hey Zhan Koye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. So the first time, Zhan, 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 Zhan. Second time, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan. Let's try the whole refrain. Hey Zhan Koye, hey Zhan Dili, hey Zhan Koye, hey Zhan Koye, Zhan, Zhan, Zhan.
Hey Jean Koye, hey Jean Billy, hey Jean Koye, Jean.
Right, next page. We're not going to go over the English. 2 more verses in Yiddish. First 2 lines. Entfert jeden auf mein Kasche, wo's mein Bruder, wo's a Brasche.
Entfert jeden auf mein Kasche, wo's mein Bruder, wo's a Brasche.
Geht bei ihm der Traktor wie a Bahn.
Geht bei ihm der Traktor wie a Bahn.
Let's try those 3 lines. Entfert jeden auf mein Kasche, wo's mein Bruder, wo's a Brasche. Es geht bei ihm der Traktor wie a Bahn.
Entfert jeden auf mein Kasche, wo's mein Bruder, wo's a Brasche. Es geht bei ihm a Traktor wie a Bahn.
Wummele bei der Kosilke, Bele bei der Molle Tilke, in Janke, Jan, Jan, Jan.
Die Wummele bei der Kosilke, Bele bei der Molle Tilke, in Jankoje, Jan, Jan, Jan.
Let's try the whole verse.
Entfällt jeden auf mein Kasche, wo's mein Bruder, wo's a Brasche, es geht bei ihm der Traktor wie a Bahn. Die Mummele bei der Kosilke, Bele bei der Molle Tilke, in Jankoje, Jan, Jan, Jan.
Right? You know the refrain. Last verse, first 3 lines. Wer sagt, dass Jiden können nur handeln, essen Fette, Joich mit Mandeln, nur nicht sein kein Arbeitsmann.
Wer sagt, dass Jiden können nur handeln, essen Fette, Joich mit Mandeln, nur nicht sein kein Arbeitsmann.
Last 3 lines. Das können sagen nur die Sonnen, jeden Schweizer an den Pannen, Tutta guck auf Jan, Jan, Jan.
Das können sagen nur die Sonne, jeden Schweizer an den Panem, Tutta guck auf Jan, Jan, Jan.
Let's do that whole verse.
Wer sagt, dass Jiden können nur handeln, essen Fette, Joich mit Mandeln, nur nicht sein kein Arbeitsmann. Das können sagen nur die Sonne, jeden Schweizer an den Panem, Tutta guck auf Jan, Jan, Jan.
Great.
All right.
I just realized, a note to Lily, when we sing the refrain, would you put the words of the refrain into the chat? Because we did not, we neglected to repeat the words of the refrain there. So let's go back to page 1, which has the refrain. And when we get to page 2, you can look in the chat for the words of the refrain. So we'll sing Yiddish, English refrain, Yiddish, English refrain, Yiddish, English refrain, or we'll be here forever, which wouldn't be so bad.
But we've got more songs. I realized, Lilia, can you get to it while your screen is big?
Oh.
I'm just typing it in. It'll take
Oh.
it's all good.
That's right. Sorry. Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll sing it slowly. because there's a lot
I'll
of
just take this opportunity to announce, I'll put in the chat again. So this event is co-hosted by Rad Yiddish and the Boston Worker Circle, and Rad Yiddish is collecting funds that would help us host future events like this. And if people were able to donate, we would really appreciate it and it would really help us. So I will put the PayPal in the chat again. But thanks so much to Linda and Polly again for doing this. And I'm so excited that we have so many more songs tonight.
And thanks to everyone who's already donated.
Oh, this is a große Vergnügen. Great pleasure.
Okay, cool. I was going, Vergnügen. How can you translate Vergnügen?
As me fort kein Serverstoppel ist nicht weit von Simferoppel, dorten ist a Stanzier voran. Wer darf suchen neue Klippen, ist a Stanzier an Antiken in Jankoje, Jan, Jan, Jan. When you go from Sevastopol on the way to Simferopol, just you go a little farther down.
There's a little railroad depot known quite well to all the people called Jankoya, Jan, Jan. Hey Jan, Kaya, hey Jan Billy, hey Jan Kaya, hey Jan Kaya, Jan, Jan. Hey Jan, Kaya, hey Jan Billy, hey Jan Kaya, hey Jan Kaya, Jan, Jan. Entfällt jeden Nacht mein Kasche, wo's mein Bruder, wo's noch Brasche, geht bei ihm der Traktor wie a Bahn. Die Mummele bei der Kossilke, Bele bei der Mole Tilke, in Jankoya, Jan, Jan. Now if you look for paradise, you'll see it there before your eyes. Stop your search and go no farther on. There we have a collective farm all run by husky Jewish arms, and it's called Jankoya, Jan, Jan. Hey Jan, Kaya, hey Jan Billy, hey Jan Kaya, hey Jan Kaya, Jan, Jan. Hey Jan, Kaya, hey Jan Billy, hey Jan Kaya, hey Jan Kaya, Jan, Jan. Wer sagt, Daviden können nur handeln, essen fette Jäuf mit Mandeln, nur nicht sein kein Arbeitsmann. Das kennen sagen nur die Sonne im jeden Speize, on in Ponem, Tutta, Kuckuck, Jan, Jan, Jan. Aunt Natasha drives the tractor, Grandma runs the cream extractor. While we work, we all can sing our songs. Who says that Jews cannot be farmers? Spit in their eye, who would so harm us? Tell them of Jankoya, Jan, Jan. Hey Jan, Kaya, hey Jan Billy, hey Jan Kaya, hey Jan Kaya, Jan, Jan, Jan. Hey Jan, Kaya, hey Jan Billy, hey Jan Kaya, hey Jan Kaya, Jan, hey Jan.
Someone is asking if there's any other way to donate if you don't do PayPal.
Georgia, can you provide an answer in the chat as our residence finance person? Thank you.
Yes, I was following up, but I'll put this in I'll just put it in the chat. Yes.
Any questions or comments? Oh, sorry.
Who wrote the English lyrics to that?
I know Pete Seeger sang them. I don't know if he wrote them. Perhaps somebody translated it for him because I don't think he spoke Yiddish. And he may have written the English verses, but I'm not sure.
Hi, Ruth Rubin translated. Oh no, she just lost my kid. I'm sorry. Whoever did this, it's a very loose translation.
What I love about this translation is that it goes more for the feel of the song than a literal translation.
I have a few problems with that.
Yeah, there are definitely much more literal translations, but the feel of all those things, and then the spit in their eye is definitely still von der Yiddish, from the Yiddish.
Yeah, to make a singable rhyming translation, it is really difficult to have it be a literal translation as well. So there are trade-offs. But it's a good point. Other questions or comments? So Ruth Rubin has done a more literal translation.
I was just going to say, Teddy Schwartz translated Donna Donna, and she did a great translation that was also pretty literal.
Yes, she was amazing.
She was.
So I'm going to say to anybody who likes, the first Thursday of every month, Boston Workers Circle is a creating Yiddish art space. So anyone who wants to think of a new, more literal translation, singable literal translation for Jankoya, seid es euch gut, please come to the Nest, to sing, to create a more literal singable translation.
Teddy Schwartz, who was the name of the person who wrote the more literal translation
Of Donna Donna.
Donna Donna was Ruth Rubin.
Like,
No, Donna Donna was Teddy Schwartz.
yeah.
Schlaf mein Kind was what was the song we sang before? Schlaf mein Kind, Schlaf Kaseda. Ruth Rubin wrote a singable version, but Teddy Schwartz's translation of Donna Donna, which is the first way I learned Donna Donna. I thought Donna Donna was a Joan Baez American folk song, and learned much later that the original was in Yiddish, but it was Teddy Schwartz's translation that Joan Baez sang, and the rest of us in America who sang Donna Donna in English. Anyway, and other questions about Jean Claude?
One question on one line there in the second verse.
Yeah.
The Mumilea by der Kasilke. Where are those? Sing that for me again.
Yeah, that's a tough scanning. And Kasilka and Molatilka are Russian words. So anyway, Die Mummelea bei der Kasilka, Bela bei der Molatilka.
Die Mumilea by
Die
der
Mummelea bei.
Die Mumilea by der Kasilke.
Yes.
And I will say that I was on at Yiddish Farm, and we did point to the Molatilka and go, look.
That was the thresher?
Yeah.
I think a Molatilka is a thresher. Okay, any other questions, comments, and on their speed okay of how we're teaching and people picking it up?
And the Kotilka is the mower.
A mower, okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next song, next page.
Dictionaries are good. Mein Ruheplatz by Morris Rosenfeld. Morris Rosenfeld was born in.
May I interrupt one moment?
Yeah,
Someone's asking about Abrasha. That's the name of the name.
Yes.
Wo ist mein Bruder? Wo ist mein Bruder? Wo ist Abrasha? So it's not who is my brother Abrasha something. It's where's my brother Abrasha? Abrasha. And I like how it's auto-correcting to abrasive. Okay.
Good.
Sorry. Mein Ruheplatz.
Mein Ruheplatz, taking a step back from the Traktor, was geht wie a Bahn, tractor that goes like a train. Morris Rosenfeld was born in the Russian Empire, which is now part of Poland, or where he was born. Ewald, I should just read what I wrote. In 1862, and he worked as a diamond tailor and a diamond cutter, and settled in 1886 in New York, where he worked in the sweatshops as a presser and a baster. He became well-known as a sweatshop poet, and his songs became wildly popular, although he often needed to continue working in the sweatshop to earn a living. He died of a stroke in 1923. This song, Mein Ruheplatz, says, don't look for me where flowers bloom or birds sing or fountains spray. You will not find me where you will find me where lives wither by machines, where chains ring, where tears flow. That is my resting place. But if you love me, then cheer up my sad heart and make it sweet, my resting place. Mach mir süß, mein Ruheplatz. Mein Ruheplatz, my resting place. It's a worker's lament and love song. Some people hear the phrase, my resting place, mein Ruheplatz, and think about death, rest in peace. But for me, growing up singing this song, I have come to believe that the singer is surrounded by the cacophony of the worker's life and has no true resting place. How do you rest when chains are ringing? How do you rest when the machines are madly clacking? But in the last verse, the singer asks their love to be with them. And despite that terrible place, together they will create a beautiful place to rest. The visual that I have in my head for this comes from the Prince of Egypt, when Moses in the animated movie goes out into the Nile River and he places the staff and the river turns to blood. There's this ring of blue water around Moses the whole time. And that very much is what I think of when I think of this song, that the two people and their love make this bubble and make, when they are together, bearable. So, lass mir singen mein Ruheplatz. We'll again do it line by line. And
We'll give you one verse just to hear.
oh,
what it sounds
Avada,
like.
that was the, yep. And once again, because we love to do it so much, as we get further on, we may break out into some harmony. What? Okay. Okay.
Am I on the wrong key?
I don't know,
Wrong
but I'm
place.
gonna have you start. Okay, let's go higher. Nitzoch mich gut im Hirten grünen, gefinnst mich dort nicht mein Schatz. Du Lebenswelten bei Maschinen, dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Dort ist mein Ruheplatz. All right, line by line. Nitzoch mich gut im Hirten grünen. Nitzoch mich gut im Hirten grünen. Gefinnst mich dort nicht mein Schatz. Gefinnst mich dort nicht mein Schatz. Du Lebenswelten bei Maschinen. Du Lebenswelten bei Maschinen. Dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Let's sing it all together, but I'm going to drink a little first. I think. Nitzoch mich gut im Hirten grünen, gefinnst mich dort nicht mein Schatz. Du Lebenswelten bei Maschinen, dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Nitzoch mich, let's do two lines together. Nitzoch mich die Vögel singen, gefinnst mich dort nicht mein Schatz. Nitzoch mich die Vögel singen, gefinnst mich dort nicht mein Schatz. Aschgelaf bin ich, wo Ketten klingen. Let's just do that, right? Aschgelaf bin ich, wo Ketten klingen. Dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Platz. Dorten ist mein Ruheplatz. Dorten ist mein Ruheplatz. So let's sing that second verse together. Nitzoch mich die Vögel singen, gefinst mich dort nicht mein Schatz. Aschlaf bin ich, wo Keiten klingen, dort ist mein Ruheplatz. Dorten ist mein Ruheplatz. Okay. So for this third verse, let's just do the 2 lines that change. Everything else has the same words and the same tune. So the first and third line is what I'm going to go over, and then we'll go sing it together. Nitzoch mich wo Fontanen spritzen, gefinst, right? I said I was going to do that again. Nitzoch mich wo Fontanen spritzen, wo Tränen rinnen seine Kritzen, wo Tränen rinnen seine Kritzen. Now let's sing it all together. Nitzoch mich wo Fontanen spritzen, gefinst mich dorten nicht mein Schatz. Wo Tränen rinnen seine Kritzen, dorten ist mein Ruheplatz. Dorten ist mein Ruheplatz. This last verse has all new words.
And here comes the love song.
And it's the part that puts it all together for me. Und liebst du mich mit wahrer Liebe? Und liebst du mich mit wahrer Liebe, so komm zu mir, mein guter Schatz. So komm zu mir, mein guter Schatz. Und heiter auf mein Herz das Triebe. Und heiter auf mein Herz das Triebe und mach mir süß mein Ruheplatz. Und mach mir süß mein Ruheplatz. Mach mir süß mein Ruheplatz. Mach mir süß mein Ruheplatz. All right.
Sing the whole verse.
Oh, right. We didn't sing the whole verse yet. Yeah, Judy?
I don't want to interrupt you singing it again.
All right, go ahead.
I'm looking, as I'm following you on the screen, I'm also kind of consulting closer up in my book here, and we don't know who wrote this melody. The book, Hannah puts Hannah has nothing.
Yeah.
Text by Rosenfeld. What about the music? Do we
Certainly
know?
Rosenfeld wrote the text. I think he wrote melodies to some of his songs. I'm not sure if Mein Ruheplatz is one of them. Does anyone know?
We recorded this with KCB. I recorded an a cappella, and I'll check on the recording. If Hankus, I'm sure Hankus must have delved to that. But it's interesting that they don't credit anyone for the music here in the book. I'll check it out. I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are thrilled to have with us Judy Bressler, founding member, lead singer of the Klezmer Conservatory Band, and active member of Boston Abbottting Worker Circle. So great to have her. So let's sing the whole song.
Nitzoch mich gut im Hirten grinen, gefinnst mich dort nicht mein Schatz. Du Lebenswelten bei Maschinen, dorten ist mein Ruheplatz. Dorten ist mein Ruheplatz. Nitzoch mich gut, die Vögel singen, gefinnst mich dorten nicht mein Schatz. Aschglach bin ich, wo Keiten klingen, dorten ist mein Ruheplatz. Dorten ist mein Ruheplatz. Nitzoch mich du von Tannen spritzen, gefinnst mich dorten nicht mein Schatz. Wo Tränen rinnen, Zähne kritzen, dorten ist mein Ruheplatz. Dorten ist mein Ruheplatz. Und liebst du mich mit wahrer Liebe, so komm zu mir, mein guter Schatz. Und heiter euch mein Herz das Triebe und mach mir süß mein Ruheplatz. Mach mir süß mein Ruheplatz.
What a gorgeous song.
It is a
Judy,
gorgeous.
there was a question about what songbook you were referring to.
Oh, I was referring to Mir Troggener Gesang, the new book of Yiddish songs, edited by Chana Malotic.
We have extra used copies of that at the Yiddish Book Center. If people are interested, email orders at yiddishbookcenter.org.
Wunderlich.
Hank has just credited Rosenfeld for the text, so I guess where the melody comes from is still it's a mystery. But Chana didn't list it as a folk melody though.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Rosenfeld, or at least I know that he did do some of the music.
Can I say something?
I want to just say, wow, hearing Ronnie Gilbert sing this song.
Comment in the chat about Ronnie Gilbert singing this. Wonderful. Alan, you wanted to say something? Yes, the Penny Whistlers do sing this.
It's been very, very exciting and, well, cool to have my mother sing with me always. And that meant that I developed my singing to hers. And now it sounds really cool when we sing together.
I can't tell you what a machaya, pure joy it is to sing with my Techtel, my daughter. Other questions or comments on my Ruheplatz?
Can I say one thing?
Yes, Alan.
I love Rosenfeld, but this always seems so Deutschmerisch to me, so dramatic. And I'm looking over the text, and I think every single word comes from German, even where it's the last paragraph. Liebst du mich mit wacher Liebe, I mean, Jews would say mit Emerson lived there. But I mean, it was used. I'm sure I know, but it's but it's an art song, and an art song would lean towards the Germanic, towards the more cultured European words.
Yeah, that's a good. Yes, I is if Miriam would like to comment if what I'm saying is correct or not. But I think at that time there was a lot more Deutsch Madness in Yiddish, not just that it being an art song, but that there was a lot more Deutsch Madness
Yes.
in Yiddish comic.
Yeah, it also was regional. You know, so like in Austro-Hungary, where my parents came from, there was a lot more of what Northern Europeans thought was Deutsch because cultural language. You know, so if you're in Lithuania, locals are speaking Lithuanian. If you're in Chernovitz and German is around you, you know, so both are correct. You know, just as English has synonyms from multiple language sources, so too Yiddish will do that. Okay.
Thank you, Miriam. We're very pleased to have a Yiddish scholar in our midst with Miriam Isaacs. Thank you. Your voice is breaking up a bit, but we can understand what you're saying. Or if anyone has any further questions, please ask. Okay, let's move on to the next page, next song.
So this was our last song of, okay, we need to get to these songs. And then we have some possible others, but we'll see how we do.
Yeah, we've got 11 minutes, actually 9 minutes. So I'm sure we'll get to this song. Anyway, we'll get to what we can. So, Und du ackerst and you plow by Chaim Shidlovsky, who was a Jewish communist philosopher, social and political thinker, writer, and literary critic, born in the Russian Empire, in the part of the Russian Empire that's now Belarus, in 1865. He helped to crystallize radical Yiddishkeit in America, promoting the concept that Jewishness is not just a religion, it is an ethnic identity that can exist independently of religion. Zhidlovsky strove to unite all elements of labor, factory workers, farmers, intellectual workers, in the struggle for socialism. This is clear in this song, which is his Yiddish translation of a German poem by Georg Hedwig. It says, and you plow and you sow and you hammer, but what do you earn? You weave on your loom, you dig iron from the mine, you bring grain and wine, but where is your table set? Worker, wake up and recognize your great power. Whenever you want, you could make all wheels stand still. Stehen alle Räder still. We have a lot to thank Shidlovsky for. So here's the first verse and the refrain. And Lilia, this is another, Lilia's already ahead of us. When we get to the next page, the refrain won't be there. So look at your chat for it. Und du ackerst und du säst und du bietest und du nähst und du hammerst und du spielst, sag mein Gott, was du verdienst. Kling, klang, klappt der Hammer mit seinem Gesang. Kling, klang, zerreißt die Ketten von Sklavenzwang. Love it. So, line by line, listen and repeat. Und du ackerst und du säst, und du ackerst und du säst, und du fütterst und du nähst, und du fütterst und du nähst, und du hammerst und du spielst, und du hammerst und du spielst. Sag mein Volk, was du verdienst. Sag mein Volk, was du verdienst. Let's sing the whole verse. Und du ackerst und du säst und du bietest und du nähst und du hammerst und du spielst. Sag mein Volk, was du verdienst. And the refrain. Kling, klang, kling, klang. Kling, klang, kling, klang. Klappt der Hammer mit sein Gesang. Klappt der Hammer mit sein Gesang. Kling, klang, kling, klang. Kling, klang, kling, klang. Dreistigkeiten von Schlafenswang. Dreistigkeiten von Schlafenswang. The whole refrain. Kling, klang, kling, klang. Klappt der Hammer mit sein Gesang. Kling, klang, kling, klang. Dreistigkeiten von Schlafenswang. Next page, next verse. Webst ein Webstuhl Tag und Nacht. Webst ein Webstuhl Tag und Nacht. Grobst und Eisen von der Schacht. Grobst und Eisen von der Schacht. Let's try those two lines together. Webst ein Webstuhl Tag und Nacht. Grobst und Eisen von der Schacht. Listen. Bringst die Schäfe unser Heim. Bringst die Schäfe unser Heim, voll mit Fuhr und mit Wein. Voll mit Fuhr und voll mit Wein. Let's try the whole verse. Webst ein Webstuhl Tag und Nacht, grobst und Eisen von der Schacht. Bringst die Schäfe unser Heim, voll mit Fuhr und mit Wein. And the refrain, and the last verse, first two lines. Nor wo ist dein Tisch gegräht, nor wo ist dein Jontefkleid. Nor wo ist dein Tisch gegräht, nor wo ist dein Jontefkleid. Nor wo ist dein scharfes Schwert, welches Glück ist dir beschert. Nor wo ist dein scharfes Schwert, welches Glück ist dir beschert. Try the whole verse. Nor wo ist dein Tisch gegräht, nor wo ist dein Jontefkleid. Nor wo ist dein scharfes Schwert, welches Glück ist dir beschert. Okay, yeah. I think there's more. Next page. Yep. Schafft uns eure Sonne schier. Schafft uns eure Sonne schier. And I just want to say that oitzeres is a mouthful. So think oitzeres. Any other way, at least my tongue.
It goes to other Yiddish words.
So let's try that line. Schafft uns eure Sonne schier. Schafft uns eure Sonne schier. Als Ding nur nicht bei dir. Als Ding nur nicht bei dir. Und für sich hast du erneut nur geschmied als eine Schwierigkeit. Und für sich hast du erneut nur geschmied als Schwierigkeit. Let's try that whole verse. Schafft uns eure Sonne schier, als Ding noch nicht bei dir. Und als dich hast du in euch nur geschmied als Schwierigkeit. And the big finish, last verse. Man von Arbeit aufgewacht und erkennt ein größer Macht. Mann von Arbeit aufgewacht und erkennt dein große Macht. Wenn dein starker Ohren will, stehen alle Räte still. Wenn dein starker Ohren will, stehen alle Räte still. And we have a kibitzer who has just appeared. Have a seat. Let's try that whole last verse. And get your
Autumn,
get your
autumn
arms
great.
ready. Yeah, great the autumn. Get your arms ready. Mann von Arbeit aufgewacht und erkennt dein große Macht. Wenn dein starker Ohren will, stehen alle Räder still. Kling, klang, kling, klang, klappt der Hammer mit seinem Gesang. Kling, klang, kling, klang, Dreistigkeiten von Schlafenswahn. So we have a suggestion to do Mensch von Arbeit.
And I've also considered dem von Arbeit. I'm not
Mhm.
sure which one. Miriam, is either of them, are either of them?
A good substitute for man.
Right, Miriam.
Can you say it again?
So we've got man von, in the last verse, we have man von Arbeit aufgewacht. And we have two thoughts. One is Mensch, to get rid of man. Mensch von Arbeit or der von Arbeit? Dem von Arbeit?
I was doing dem, I have no idea.
There is still masculine.
I guess dem.
Yeah, dem. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Dem is
Yeah.
still masculine, whereas mensch
Yeah.
is gender neutral.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mensch.
Mensch, yeah, I like that better.
Okay.
Good. Mensch von Arbeit.
Let's make it
Or
Mensch von
even
Arbeit.
better, do.
Du von Arbeit.
Ooh.
And then it should be, but then it should be aufgewacht. And then it doesn't rhyme with mach.
No,
Close enough.
Close enough.
Du
Yeah,
von
okay.
von Arbeit.
And you know what? If you like Mensch, if you
Yeah.
like du,
But Bregel says, yeah, ihr von Arbeit.
you were so-
ihr von Arbeit. Yeah,
Yeah.
all of you. Ihr von Arbeit. Ihr von Arbeit aufgewacht.
All right, we're
All
gonna go for
right.
ihr.
Let's go back to the top, 2 pages up.
Schönen Dank für bleiben. Thanks for staying.
Oh yeah, it was slightly over. But
Love me to singen
if anyone
zusammen.
needs
Let's
to go,
sing together.
if anyone needs to go, of course you should go. But this will be our last big rousing finale. Und du Akes, thank you, Chaim Zhitlovsky. Und du ackerst und du säst und du fiedelst und du nähst und du handelst und du spielst, sag mein Volk, was du verdienst. Kling, klang, kling, klang, klappt der Hammer mit seinem Gesang. Kling, klang, kling, klang, Dreistigkeiten von Sprachenzwang. Setzt ein Werkstuhl Tag und Nacht, Robt und Eisen von der Schacht, bringst die Schäfe unser Heim, voll mit Buhe und voll mit Wein. Kling, klang, kling, klang, klappt der Hammer mit sein Gesang. Kling, klang, kling, klang, Dreistigkeiten von Sprachenzwang. Nur du ist dein Tisch gegräht, nur du ist dein Jontefleet, nur du ist dein scharfes Schwert, welches Glück ist dir beschert. Kling, klang, kling, klang, klappt der Hammer mit sein Gesang. Kling, klang, kling, klang, Dreistigkeiten von Sprachenzwang.
Schatz uns heute son a Schier, als Ding nur nicht bei dir. Und bei sich hast du ihn heut nur geschmied, das schöne Kind. Kling, klang, klappt der Hammer mit sein Gesang. Kling, klang, Dreistigkeiten von Spatenzwang. Du von Arbeit aufgewacht und erkennt ein größer Macht. Wenn dein starke Arm will, stehen alle Erde still. Kling, klang, klappt der Hammer mit sein Gesang. Kling, klang, zerreißt die Ketten von Spatenzwang. Herzlichen Dank. Let's stop the screen share so we can all see each other. You can unmute and say hello. And
we have a few announcements just before we wrap up. So don't come off mute just yet, but we want to first of all, say a huge, huge thank you to Perla and Liebe for taking us through these really fun songs. And if you saw in the chat, if you're able, no pressure, these events are always free, pay what you can, but if you can, leave a donation so the organizers can keep putting on rad Yiddish events for you all. And the next event we have coming up is a Queer Yiddishist Shmueskreis on Sunday, February 7th. I'm going to put the link to sign up for that in the chat. And as always, these rad Yiddish events are led by you, the community. So if you have an idea for a reading circle or songs you want to teach, let us know, and it can be a rad Yiddish event too.
Can I jump in with a couple BWC announcements as well? Yeah, so I'll put the link to our events too. We have lots of events, Yiddish and other cultural and activist events as well. And I'll just plug a couple of them. We have monthly Yiddish Sings, also led by Linda and Mike. And that's happening this Thursday. And
yes, if you want to sit there, we don't teach the songs, we sing them. So we sing probably about 15 songs in an hour and a half as opposed to 5. But come sing, we give out a booklet, all of the translations and Yiddish and transliteration and translation, and we just have fun singing.
Yes. And Polly mentioned DNest, which is our still relatively new Yiddish creative project incubator. So anyone is welcome to come and share or help workshop creative works in progress in or featuring Yiddish. I'll put the link for that in the chat.
Yay. Yeah, no, it was a great way for BWC and Rad Yiddish